6th versus 11th, who will come out victorious. The crowd of 40,000 roar to get the match underway. Stephen O'Dwyer, big red-headed ruckman for the Demons, up against David Cloak, and it's O'Dwyer who get the Demons away, but Turner for Collingwood gets them forward. Brown out to the wing looking for Mullane, stretches after him. Darren Mullane having trouble judging at the stretch. Has Crowell now to beat, can't do it. The youngster for Collingwood onto the left boot, not a good pass, and over the boundary line it goes. Spalding knocking it over. Collingwood on the half-forward flank. The throw-in to take place on the outer side of the ground.
Collingwood kicking to the right of screen, to the scoreboard end. O'Dwyer again, the big fellow, 32. And tapping it out to Dean, number 23. And the ball again out of play. Melbourne's half-forward line.
O'Dwyer favoured. Starcevic over the top. Wrestled away by the Demons. Up the outer wing they go. Meeting at Giles. Did that well. That's a throw. Wilson for Collingwood. Umpire's blown the whistle and given him a free. Very clever, Brian Wilson. Didn't take possession of it and was grabbed. He drives up towards half-forward. Mark to Banks. Good mark in defence for Dennis Banks from the Collingwood side. He's got a good pair of hands, and that will give him confidence early in the match.
And a delightful pass to Turner, the centre player, gets a call. Christian. Then Starcevic, the half-forward. He's on the wing at the moment. Bring him to centre half-forward now. Brown, number 26 for Collingwood. Run him out! Flair from behind. And one of the young brigade that Collingwood are really looking and resting on their laurels this year. Now, he could just about kick this. He'll kick it on the 50-metre line. No, he's kicked it outside that, and it's dropping short. Is Taylor there? Haven't lost it. Gets it again. Looking for the free. Here's Mullane battling it through. Campbell. Ryan. And 26 is Brown. It's a Melbourne free kick for holding, and they take it from the last line of defence.
Batterson for the Demons, out towards half-back. 2 against 1. It favours the Demons, and they're away. Yates up the members' wing. Oh, fine pass. Healy for Melbourne. Told that he's going to go long. Ball just drops a little bit short. The pack arrive on it. Down there, Williams, number 15 for Melbourne, and it's Robbie Flower getting his first touch, and you see him get a hold of the football. Oh, that's what it feels like. It's been so long.
You get a few more, Peter, as the day goes on. Oh, O'Dwyer beaten by Cloak then for position. Batterson in trouble. Oh, didn't he do it well? He bounced off like a rubber ball, straight down to full forward. A good run here. The Demons playing for that front position. Gaffer, and he went for the line, and that's option deliberate, and the umpires rule it that way. Bad luck, Michael Gaffer, but it was red hot. And it looks like young Greg Healy is going to, make that free kick. No, it's not. It's the man on the boundary line. It's going to be Williams.
I wonder what he whispered in the umpire's ear there.
Well, they congratulated him.
It's a brave decision. You don't see it too often. Williams gives himself a better angle, or does he? Comes in from the boundary line. He's missed. All the cheering was from the black and white fans out on the full. What about that, Nick? It gets paid perhaps once out of 20, I suppose.
It's always the old criticism of umpires of being consistent. As long as they do it every time, it's all right.
Fair enough, John. Dennis Banks is going to kick the ball into play. He's playing on the back line in this opening quarter. Perfect day at the MCG. 40,000 here. A few more Cloak time for the back. Had a good match last week. Wilson again. A wild kick there, and it's over the line. Out of play. Not deliberately, of course, this time, and a throw in.
Yes, Dennis Banks has been playing back pocket the last couple of weeks, including today, even though he's been picked in the forward line.
O'Dwyer front position on Cloak. Batterson on hands and knees, wrestles it out. Now this is Batterson now. Too much pace for sure. Batterson towards half forward. Flower! Robbie Flower, and don't the crowd love it? First possession coming up for the Melbourne captain, and he can put the first score of the afternoon on the board. Some deep breaths. Wilson trying to bring a teammate across in front of the mark, or an opponent rather. Flower, a post up to start the afternoon. Melbourne are behind. Collingwood yet to score. We've played 5 minutes.
Yes, Peter Bradbury has lined up on Robert Flower, and certainly he's got an enormous job all day, because Robert Flower, just floating across the front of the pack, was unlucky enough to hit the post.
Banks to the outer wing to Turner. Beautiful kick, and didn't Turner run for it well. He outthought them all there, particularly Brian Wilson, and Wilson standing on the mark. Good play, Wilson, and the umpire's fallen for that. Turner was quick to get off. Into the centre to Atkins. Kroll mixing up with some handball here. Oops, here's Ryan. He's run to the half-forward line to a lead in the pocket to Taylor. Safe hands of Taylor. Deep on the half-forward line. There's only one score in the match, and that's to Robbie Flower in his comeback game with his hands strapped after breaking his finger. And it was a poster, so Taylor can level or put them in front. Ooh, a long, powerful kick. Out on the foot.
So 6 minutes gone, scoring at a premium. Stretch there, kicking in as if it was a behind, but now he goes in from the boundary line. Behind the pack, Bailey. Wilson shepherding and telling him to go long. He goes high instead, and it favours Lockman. Oh, good roving though. Driven forward by Dean. Up towards half forward. Out comes Wight. Held when he didn't have it. Then he holds Banks when he didn't have it. Hasn't been spotted. Let it go. Banniston now. Over the top. Running into goal. Lyon for the Demons. He's got it. Warren Dean brings up the first major of the afternoon after 6 3/4 minutes. And it's Melbourne 1-1-7. Gary Lyon, rather. I think I said Dean then, with Collingwood yet to score.
Yeah, certainly a very exciting player, Gary Lyon, even though he was on the end of a chain of hand passes, lining up at centre half forward, being picked up by Michael Lockman, number 17 for Collingwood. Certainly he is one of the most exciting prospects for a long time at Melbourne.
Demons with the score on the board, 7 to Collingwood's 0, as Cloak drives Melbourne to attack. Oh, pretty clever mark. Taken by the Demons. It's half back and pass across to Greg Healy. He gets his kick. It's a good one. Oh, short, almost does it. Knocked Williams over. Bit of a struggle here as Greg Healy has a shot to go, and that'll just about carry unless Collingwood's Bradbury mark it right on the line. Nick in time.
Bradbury to Shaw. Collingwood skipper along the outer wing. Oh, it's fine mark. Mullane. From a standing start, Darren Mullane gets them going to Lockman. He's got plenty of space. Looks up, goes towards Starcevic on the half-forward flank. Just knocked away in time. Good defence by Spalding. He's a cool customer. Oh, good tackle from Atkins on Hughes. And the bounce just going before the boundary line. Some good tackling early on. You can't afford to dwell.
It was good tackling.
Yeah, certainly Earl Spalding made a mistake then. He should have punched the ball from behind. He tried to outmark his Collingwood opponent.
Dwyer and Cloak. Turner gets it. Free kick going Dwyer's way against Cloak. Ruck infringement there. And the big Irishman. It's his third game. Both he and Sean White have spent some time in Dublin. Fiery Irish. And there's his kick. Wasn't a good one, but it found Wilson okay. I don't know whether he really meant it for Wilson, but Wilson found it. And here's Healy. Oh, with a hip and shoulder shepherding there. Is Bradbury having a good dash at this stage. Beats Flower for possession. Atkins gets it out. Defending strongly. The handball is good. Banks waits for it to come to him and then charges after it. He's running back towards Melbourne's goal. He's in a bit of trouble. They'll get out of it now. Gaffer. Kroll. Handball and short passing. Now a kick down to the wing to Starcevic. Wilson was pushed by his own teammate, so it's not a kick, it's play on. Down to full forward. Melbourne there. Batterson's caught. Spoons it out. Kick. Yes, it is by Dean. The score is one behind. Well, they were going to call it back for a free kick there, but that's not on. And it's Melbourne now with 8 points on the board, and the Collingwood yet to get off the mark.
9.5 minutes gone. On the first bounce, Gaffer takes it from Banks. When he goes to Keys, breaks one tackle, he's strong, but couldn't break the Johnston tackle. He gets it again, though, Keys, over the centre wing. 2 against 2. A whistle. I think the free kick will go to Melbourne. Or is Mullane being held behind the pack? Well, the free kick has gone to Collingwood. It wasn't Mullane. Starcevic goes up towards Manson or Taylor. Melbourne all fly. Taken by O'Dwyer. Oh, handball to Stretch. He then puts in the Shepherd. Now O'Dwyer takes the handball from Payne. His handball onto Yates, having trouble finding the handle. Taken away by Mullane. On he goes from 45 metres. Well, Collingwood inaccurate. The first score comes up after 10.5 minutes of behind. And the difference is 7 points.
Yes, Melbourne fiddling around with their handballs, and Mullane should have kicked that goal. He steadied after breaking clear.
And Robbie Flowers moved right down. He's covering the full measure of the MCG on the wing and takes the kick on the half-back line. Oh, bad luck for Stretch. He had it at a rubber-chested out of play. And it's taken Collingwood 10.5 minutes to get a score on the board, which is only 1 behind at this stage. Melbourne have 8 points up there. This Cloak beats O'Dwyer. There's Tony Shaw. Good tap on there from the little fellow. And butters up well here, but Stretch without hasting kicks the ball, clears it to the opposite side of this beautiful MCG. Quickly out there to Dean. Oh, lovely Mark Williams. He outpointed Gafer then brilliantly. Gets a call in the pocket from Wilson. Good thinking, good play by Wilson. Certainly within scoring distance, and he should kick the goal. And Melbourne are leading by 7 points. Wilson's 3rd kick.
Ryan Wilson having a great tussle so far with Jamie Turner. Wilson, by virtue of goal here, you'd have to say he was leading the battle. He knows how important it is. Well, the goal umpires are really being worked hard in this opening 11 minutes of play. Another bad miss. 8-point leaders are the Demons.
Just wondering how much the pressure is, John.
Yes, I think it's probably nerves. The build-up of these players don't really know the old build-up of the Melbourne Collingwood games because some of them are so young, but still, I'm sure there's pressure on them because of their nerves.
The Demons worried to be denied. Healy shoots one in. Mark quickly on the ground by Lyon. And a good run there by Healy. Takes it from him, only metres out. And his goal. He initiated it. He put the pass down. And butted up. And kicked a very valuable goal. Melbourne second in 12.5 minutes.
Certainly Greg Healy's been a very busy rover, figuring in 5 or 6 passages of play already, and shooting a skimmer pass into Gary Lyon, running past, and Collingwood, I must admit, are not checking very well in Melbourne's forward line, because there's been 2 or 3 short passes. At this stage, certainly Healy's been their most active player.
Mullane doing it solo against 3. Stretch misses off the ground. Cloak throws himself in. The ball will have to come back because the free kick's not going the way of Batterson. Yates just forward of half-back, keeping play on that outer side of the ground, looking for O'Dwyer. He's got a 5 or 6 metre break, the big fellow. He needs it too as Kroll pushes him. The kick towards Giles. Oh, almost. Giles against 2. Bradbury didn't keep it in. He looked over towards the boundary umpire, who then blew his whistle. Throw in on the half-forward flank for Melbourne. They lead by 14 points.
There's Cloak's fist in the way again and looking for Ryan, number 45. Couldn't get past Batterson, certainly couldn't get the ball past him, and it's out of play on the outer side. Some good tackling, a lot of mistakes, some inaccurate kicking. 2 goals, 3 to the Demons, 1 behind to Collingwood, and an infringement here at this stage. Brett Bailey doesn't like it. Turner picks it up, throws it back to the big ruckman by G's. Been good value for Collingwood since coming across from Richmond. A veteran, big man. And there's a ding-dong in the middle of the ground. A good old thumping match there with a couple of lads. Play goes on the half-forward line for Collingwood. It's Tony Shaw up towards Atkins. Starcevic gets it, spins around. It's a curling kick. The bounce beats everyone except Melbourne's Hughes, and he boots it back. Turner. Bradbury, is it? No, that's Tony Shaw.
Well, it's still going back there. Lockman and Lyon seem to be exhausted on the right, so Oh, there's a big one from Christian. They've forgotten the football. The shot at goal comes into the pocket. Good mark from behind by Payne. They seem to have calmed tempers down there. Wilson for Melbourne. Handball's over the top to Stretch. He's got support from Hughes if he wants to use him. Draws Shaw and then finds it to the running Danny Hughes. Now it's Grinter, in fact, on the wing. Up towards half forward. It's pretty vacant up there, the Demon forward line. They've all been fighting. And Gaither sees it go over the boundary line. Throw in on half forward flank.
That was interesting, that fight. We must comment, both field umpires were running down with the play, and the trainer and the goal umpire are about the only ones to cool them down. But no reports, and a few players had a go. Good player, Melbourne's best. Healy, and it may just about make it. Can't be Shepherd, it'll be touched. Just touched by Williams. Another behind to Melbourne. They're fourth. So they go to 16, Collingwood on 1.
Rosonico just getting some attention from the bench there. High flyer in the middle of the pack was Cloak, but behind the pack Bradbury. Good work to stay down. Shoots it to Ryan. He's having all sorts of problems. Cloak keeps running. Oh, it's a carbon copy. Turner can find it. He's found by Stretch. There's Mullane on half forward. Lovely pass. Banks. He's gone up from full back, and Dennis Banks has caught the Demons backs napping there. And he'll shoot from the 50-metre line. Taylor. Content after half a lead to go back and allow Banks to have a pot. It's a good kick. It's a beautiful kick. Right through the middle. And it takes the backman at the start of the game to teach the forwards how to do it for the Magpies. Their first goal comes up after 16 and a half minutes, and they trail by 9 points.
Yes, a great goal by Dennis Banks. Watching the juggling one-handed mark. Collingwood at this stage obviously went into the game lining up with Manson in the forward pocket, Taylor at full forward, and trying to rely on their marking power, which at this stage it hasn't worked out that way.
Cloak's beating the big Melbourne Dwyer on the ruck. Melbourne into attack now, and it took Collingwood almost 17 minutes to kick their first goal in this first quarter. And the free kick will go to Collingwood's Atkins, the half-back line. He's got Healy from the opponent, and Healy's had 8 kicks in this quarter in 17 minutes. That was Hughes thumping it away. Good play. Oh, goodness me. Good play by Johnson. But his first touch was robbed of it, and Mullane shoots a kick to Starcevic over his head. Melbourne will have to talk here. Yates goes the run and kicks deep out to the wing. Good play. Dean again. Dean on the outer wing.
Much movement up forward. Fourth kick for Dean. He goes in the direction of Lyon, holding his opponent off beautifully. Well, not beautifully. In fact, he's going to be... Oh, he's got the free. He has done it well. Well, he was backing into the Collingwood opponent there, and he's got the free. Lyon, second kick, drives it long. Wight behind the pack. All Collingwood. Bradbury, he's very cool. White's back in there battling low. The Irishman does well, and he really has become the new hero of the Melbourne supporters.
Yes, he puts his body in strongly and tries to play in front, and whilst he's lacked skills 12 months ago, he's worked on them dramatically and is now a good player for Melbourne.
Melbourne 16 to Collingwood's 9. Melbourne's forward line. Whoops, knock it out of that truck. Always doing something. Oh, Bailey out of the pack. Williams. Knocked away by Gaither. But the ball, importantly for Melbourne, still in their forward line, and they lead 16-7 first term.
Melbourne skipper Flower takes up position at the front of the pack. Wight against 2. Then Lyon comes in to try and help him. And Ryan picks it up first time this time. Has a bounce, drawing men, and then gives the ball away. Giles kicks towards half forward. Mark almost taken there for Melbourne. Down goes Lyon. No free this time. Bulldozing work done there by Bradbury. Now it's Lockman who clears for Collingwood, but straight to O'Dwyer. The carrot top. Half forward for Melbourne. It's a really confused forward line. He goes into the half forward flank. Bailey kicks quickly, and it's ricocheted over the boundary line, and really not much system up forward for the Demons there. Going in all directions.
They're keeping the ball on their forward line, and the standard is not great, we can say that at this stage. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on the players for this great Melbourne Collingwood clash. Batterson missed. They get it up quickly and they're quick shots, but they just can't find the gap. That's 2 goals, 5 to Melbourne. Collingwood 1-1.
Little lull in proceedings. Well, majors are hard to kick. Kroll kicks in for Morwood. No time wasted. Ryan, this time he finds a teammate. Squaring kick, looking for Turner. He didn't flinch though. He knew there were a lot of demons there and he kept going. Grinter goes backwards. This allows Atkins in for Collingwood. Keeps it in play. 2 against 1 down here. It favours Melbourne. Yates tries to shepherd off Taylor. Hughes gives it back to Yates. Gets away from Atkins, but the pressure told. Oh, bad bounce for Ozonico, but behind the pack Mullane. He's played well on half forward for Collingwood. Quick kick forward from Brown, and the mark taken by Danny Hughes. So Melbourne defence standing up to the pressure as they swing play to the outer side of the ground.
Hughes seems to be beating Taylor. Here's Spalding. Dean again. His 5th kick. Oh, Christian, yes. Good talking there by Paul Moore, who stood behind him and gave him the G up. But your kick an easy one. And we're getting a change here at the moment. Turner about to come on. No, it's Sparks. Or it's Turner, sorry.
O'Dwyer's gone off. Healy then puts the shepherd in for Johnson, who took his eyes off the ball. Mullane swings it forward, hoping that the teammate's going to run onto it. That teammate is Tony Shaw. He's got pressure. The new man Turner's put him down. Then down goes Yates, but his pass is a good one to stretch. He in turn to Healy. He's been unstoppable so far, and Johnston's got a heap of room. He can get up, use it. The pass on for Flower, intercepting Williams. Williams half forward flank, outer side of the ground. 2 against 1 down in the goal square, so he kicks quickly. Knocked to the ground by Christian. Cloak grabs it. He's grabbed. Turner does it well, the sentiment. Feeds out for Morwood. Undecided. Chips over the top. This puts Ryan under pressure, but he's good enough. Away goes the youngster. Another chip pass onto Starcevic on the first bounce. Wheels around and goes towards Taylor. A high battle coming up here. BT up too early, and Hughes full-back supreme.
He certainly was. You named it well, Peter, and he kicks the ball out to stretch. That was a good mark under a little bit of pressure there as Starcevic was charging straight at him, but he stood his ground and he's hurt himself. And he had a problem with a leg injury last year at Stephen Stretch, and he's unable to kick it. It was his 4th kick, and Yates comes from the back pocket, steers the ball up to Lyon. A nice dummy there to about outpoint block when he's 60 metres or more. A beautiful pass. Great pass. Didn't come off. His teammate was pretty well covered there. His teammate being whom? Can't pick him up at the moment.
Giles.
It was Giles. Giles on the forward pocket, or half forward line.
Backline's really dominating at the moment. Morwood. No, that's in fact Atkins who goes across ground. It's dangerous, but Bradbury didn't flinch. Took the mark and now plays on. The kick's too long. Really is kick to kick at the moment. A new man on the ground, Steve Turner, goes towards the flank. Oh, good mark, Healy. Handballs quickly onto Wilson. Wilson's pass, a beauty. Dean, inside 50. Comes back. It's there. Warren Dean gets his first goal, and the Demon fans ecstatic. And Healy again starting it off.
Yes, Healy's at this stage has had about 11 possessions, 8 kicks, 3 hand passes.
And it's certainly not a high-scoring game. 4 goals in 24 minutes. Melbourne had 3. Collingwood have 1. Turner takes a knock from the centre, puts Collingwood into attack. Tony Shaw knocked away from him. Good play by Grinter. Collingwood with another chance now. Keys it is, the youngster. Booms it up towards the half-forward line on a strong mark to Starcevic. He had the outpoint for it. Shoot it out towards Tony Shaw, but the mark will have to stand. And Starcevic will have to go back. It's his 5th kick. And Taylor's being beaten by Danny Hughes, but it's a good lead. The kick is short. Gave him no chance in the world. Steve Turner, the man interchange, came on and the ball shot out and Johnson. How did he drop that to centre? Atkin has a chance, only metres out. Here's Ryan, 40 metres out. Non-preferred kick, and it's a nice looking kick, but floating out. Fell well short of the scoring area, free to Melbourne.
Yes, at this stage, the Collingwood backmen, namely Manson and Taylor, are still playing behind. And here's
Taylor now gets it across towards Atkins. Atkins on towards Ryan. He's got this one. Matt Ryan threading it through. And Collingwood their second goal as we've ticked into time on. They trail by 10 points. Well, they're messing around on the back line there, Melbourne, and they're punished. Quick chain of handballs. And Ryan onto the right boot, made no mistake.
So Collingwood have kicked their second goal at the 25-minute mark. Melbourne kicked their third goal at the 24-minute mark. And it's 23-13. Demons in front as Wilson puts him in front again, and the bounce over the top of Rosonico. Or was it? No, it was Christian. Giles got the corsets on there and can't get the ball back. He does now to Robbie Flower, who seemed to have switched flanks and blasted in. And it's a goal to Robbie Flower in his comeback game. His first goal, and his teammates and the crowd love it. Just to recap and see how positively he handled that ball. And he watched the ball onto his foot, kept it low, hard. And I'm sure that could have split a hair between those goalposts.
Well, the forward lines have been held so far. 2 quick goals. And the match starting to lose those nerves that we saw early. As Rosonico comes through. Beat 3 or 4. Wilson pressured him though. He didn't get much assistance, Rosonico. Wilson's tackled well. Turner there to put it on him. Christian. Handball out in front of Turner, beaten by the boot of Batterston. Goes the way of Stretch. Stretch, handballs to Dean, gives it back to Stretch. Along the outer wing they go, towards half forward. Backing back into it was Lockman. And the free kick has gone the way of Melbourne though.
Williams.
Pushed out. So it's Williams, half forward flank. 4th kick coming up for David Williams. Goes long. Towards the edge of the square. Flower number 2 in middle position. Pushed out of it by Banks. Back in defence. Lockman. Oh, only as far as Johnson. He's danger. Swings it. Back enough. Will it go? No. He did everything to try and get that to draw. Did Alan Johnson. You see, like golfers, when they've hit one out to the right, they'll start leaning left all of a sudden. He couldn't quite bring it back enough.
He expected it anyway. The Pies kick it out. Oh, a mark. A lovely mark there to Mullane. Against Flower in the back. And Flower's handball's bad. Keys back to Mullane. And the Collingwood champ puts him into attack. He kicks it to a lead there from Starcevic, who's broken away from Spaulding. That was too easy. And it went against Melbourne then. They lost possession. Starcevic's kick to Taylor and Hughes. Grinter was in front, and Grinter's the man who's marked it. A beaut.
Played a good game in defence. He and Hughes combining well. Wilson, great battle with Turner in the middle. They're going far and wide for their kicks. Mark to Johnson though, spoiled by his teammate. He gets a high tackle, but it's on the blind side of the umpire. And Johnson just says, what'd you do then, Gary? Gary Lyon coming over the top to spoil him. So they bounce just into attack for Collingwood. Members wing. Up too early was Cloak. Lockman towards half forward. Good position here, Starcevic. Oh, but Spaulding never lost his head, knocked it away from him. He's very cool. This pass not so good though, and Matt Ryan has it.
And a kick to goal. Right up into the teeth of goal. Well, put everything down now. Good quarter by Melbourne particularly. They finished 4 goals 6-30 to Collingwood's 2 goals 1-13.
The restart here at the MCG to begin the second quarter with Melbourne leading by 17 points, going from left to right. Shaw almost gets Collingwood away. Instead, it's Batterson who gets it onto the running Johnson for Melbourne. Up towards full forward they go. Johnston's gone almost for home. Williams couldn't keep it in. First score of the quarter comes up after 20 seconds. And Melbourne go to an 18-point lead.
Collingwood kicking to the left-hand side of the screen, of course, as Dennis Banks boots the ball in, and Turner takes a lovely mark in front of Wilson. Good battle here between these two champion centre players. Wilson the master at that particular position, but Turner's picked up form in the last 2 years and puts it in towards Cloak. He's a bit short, he can't get up like he used to, and the handball comes out quickly. That's Giles. Little fickle bounce there, gives Sean Wight the chance. A nice left footer, he kicked a beauty last week and he's kicked one today. A clever goal from the man who's played about 4 different football sports, including Gaelic footy, rugby, soccer, and now Australian rules. A man from Glasgow and Ireland doing his stuff, and he's having a good season with the Demons.
So a good start to Melbourne. 7 points in the first minute and a half. Collingwood just caught napping a little bit. Cloak beaten by O'Dwyer. But taking it as Lockman, put down by O'Dwyer. That was high, and the free kick should be taken down ground. Lockman, deep breath as Mullane takes the free kick, puts it for Taylor through the hands, and Hughes in fact has been paid the mark. Plays on, all Collingwood out here. Mullane, he's been a lone hand on the half-forward line. Lovely pass, finds Ryan. Matt Ryan favoured. He's a right footer here in the forward pocket. I think he'll have a go. He's kicked 1 goal. This is his 6th kick. So a busy player has been Matt Ryan. Full forward Taylor back on the line with Hughes. Ryan makes the angle a little better for himself and then hooks it. Behind.
Really a poor kick, wasn't it, Ryan? Very non-thinking sort of a kick.
Manson preparing to come back on.
Now, can need him too when Hughes boots the ball right out towards Spalding, but the man in front is Mullane, and he's a class player, and the combination comes good again. Ryan this time.
Give them to him on the run.
Yeah. 2 goals to young Matt Ryan. He's the only Collingwood player to kick more than the one. It must be, because they've only kicked 3 goals. Lovely handball, and Ryan knows all about running on when Mullane gets a football, but that was a lovely kick, and on the run he's much better. You're quite right, Peter. How many players are like that too?
So 17 points is the difference again, as it was at the first break. Kroll goes down, bundled by his own man Cloak. Jason Kroll hands it back to the umpire Howlett, who will put it down again in the middle. Played 3.5 minutes. Off the foot of Spalding, straight to Batterson. Swings it towards half-forward, good mark, Christian. The big blonde defender goes backwards, but it's safe enough. Lockman, he's copped a few bumps today, but has stood up to them. Keys gives it back to him. Lyon pressures him, and it goes straight to Johnston. Melbourne now swinging to attack. The pass, a beauty through Healy's hands though. He's been pushed. Umpires give him the free. A little lucky there, Healy. Free kick might have been there, but he should have held the mark. 10th kick for Healy into the pocket, and that's another strong mark from the Collingwood defender. Kroll not paid. Flowers snap. It's a goal. Well, the boos from the Magpie fans nearly drowning out the roars of delight from the Demon supporters. But 2 to Robbie Flower. The scoreboard has the final say, and the difference 23 points.
Yes, play on called by the umpires. 2 or 3 doubtful marking decisions, but you have to hold your marks today, and play on Flower picked it up. Beautiful left foot snap over his right shoulder to register Melbourne's 6th goal.
Melbourne lead 43 to Collingwood's 20. No, Dwyer, he's got fired up now, lifts that ball out of the pack. Good play by Shaw across to Keys, and Keys a mishit. Here's Bailey for Melbourne's got to outpace 3 Collingwood men there, and Alan Johnson tackled high, ball almost out. Rosonico at this stage keeps it in. Nice, cool play by him on the back line for Collingwood into the melee, and that's out as young Keys lunged at it, and they'll be thrown in on the outer side. About 40+ thousand at the MCG for this great clash. Collingwood and Melbourne.
If Ryan made the most of all his possessions, he'd be a great player, but I guess if you excuse youth, sometimes gives the ball away a bit easily, as Keys couldn't keep it in play.
Yes, Stephen O'Dwyer is outpointing David Cloke at the moment. He's jumping higher, longer arms, and getting his hands to the ball first.
Cloke against O'Dwyer, uses his body, Cloke, and pushes O'Dwyer out. Healy copped one high, but the free kick will go to O'Dwyer. Yes, I think you're right, John. He seems frustrated, Cloke. Can't get the timing of his jumps at all, as Williams with strength. Now a chance for Wight. Leaves it. Giles. Oh, great goal! No, he's hooked it too much. I thought initially it hadn't come around enough, and then took the big bend and on the wrong side. So Giles hasn't found the big opening yet, but a good start to the term from Melbourne. They lead by 24 points. We've played 6 minutes.
Yeah, that means Melbourne are more than double Collingwood's score. Banks puts it out to play brilliantly, but Giles, it's Grinter. Now, he didn't get off the ground at all. He just judged it. Just judged the flight of the ball and took it in the middle of that package. His third kick to Williams. Williams and Gafer. Now, Gafer has the title of being a wonderful tagger, a youngster at it, but Williams is getting the better of him today.
He must be tired, James Manson. He's been warming up on the boundary so long. Dwyer over the top. It's Ryan who wins the tap. Bailey gets the kick forward. Underneath it, Wilson. And descending upon him was Turner. And that battle is going to be one of the features of this match. Throw in on the half-forward flank for Melbourne. 24-point leaders at the 7-minute mark.
Dwyer again. The tap. He's at man Ryan again for Collingwood. Kicked 2 goals. Now he's in the back pocket. Good mark to Lyon for Melbourne. Now he's a good 80 metres from goal. Very live wire player. He's got all the skills, all the requirements physically as well. And that kick's dropping short. Young Greg Healy, the master touch today. A superb rover. That's his 6th mark. 12 kicks.
Well, you saw Johnson there run behind Healy, then point to the Collingwood man who'd followed him across the path of Healy, and the defender's not allowed to do that in the 15-metre penalty. Well, umpires have shown common sense when players have deliberately led their teammate or opponents through that this year, and not capped off by Hurley, and I think just deserts.
Yes, he should have kicked that goal. It was an easy shot. Manson on to replacing David Cloke. Obviously, Lee Matthews is worried about the ruck control that Melbourne have got at the moment.
Wouldn't be worried about that mark that Starcevic took for Collingwood there. It was just kicked out to Banks to him. It was well executed and well thought out. He's had 7 kicks as Starcevic, the half forward, and on the back line at the moment kicks it into the centre, but it's all Melbourne there. Right? A dreadful piece of thinking. When it's Giles for the Demons, who was virtually marked unopposed, the easiest mark he's taken in a while. But the forward line of Melbourne is cluttered at the moment. He just kicks it to an army of players there. Maybe Wight. No, he won't get it this time. Healy knows where it is. He pounces on it. A snapshot. And you saw what happened. It hit the base of the goalpost, and out of luck, Greg Healy. It's 2 and a wink. 2 behind. He's kicked. It's kicked 1 goal, 2 now. 1 goal, 3, John.
And Melbourne have kicked 6 goals, 10. They could have been in a very handy position as Bradbury from fullback gained some extra meterage, but it's going to come back quickly. Wilson, oh, lovely pass. Bradbury left Flower on his own. Bit of bad luck for Bradbury there. He was caught out of position and he's been punished for it. And Robert Flower will line up for number 3. Study and concentration is the Melbourne skipper. And the result never in doubt. 2 in the turn for Flower, 3 for the match. It's been a great comeback for the Melbourne skipper, and he puts his team 32 points in front.
Yes, we're watching Wilson, beautiful pass. Bradbury being caught out of position. And Flower taking the easiest of chest marks and converting. To me, it looks at this stage that Melbourne just have too much pace in a few areas. Using the ball and running the ball into their forward line much better, even though their forward line on some occasions is crowded, but they just have too much pace for Collingwood at the moment.
and Melbourne lead by 32 points. 10 minutes into this second quarter. O'Dwyer, and good clever play like Wilson in his Brownlow days, and it's got a lot of courage and skill there. Melbourne still have the ball. Spalling to Bailey, and it spills out to Healy, or Batterson this time. His kick down to Giles, sets himself. No, he doesn't. Brown for Collingwood. Christian and Brown again for Collingwood. They'll have to work hard to get out of this bother. Lockman, a nice pass. Rosonico, he'll have to run. Payne's right with him, and the ball out of play, and it's still in Melbourne's forward line.
So it's the Melbourne interchange bench who warm up this time, as Manson has got on the ground and is starting to contest in the ruck. Got it down for Johnston, very clever. Forward he goes for Melbourne. Healy battling there with Brown. Brown for Collingwood along the outer wing. O'Dwyer, the big fellow, knocks it forward. Ryan met by Grinter. All Collingwood in defence. Towards the centre, and the mark's taken by Stretch. Not about playing on. Now he goes long towards half forward. Oh, Wilson, brilliant mark. The Conjurer feeds it out for Giles. To goal. Brian Wilson, again instrumental in a Melbourne goal. Giles first, but it really was Wilson of his Brownlow medal days.
Yeah, certainly a magical mark. It's probably not something you always try and do, take one-handed marks and issue out of position, but he did it very well, and a beautiful hand pass to Giles, running past, coming right down the ground and threading it through for the 8th goal, giving Melbourne a very good commanding lead at this stage.
Melbourne have scored 4 goals in the first quarter. They've scored 4 goals in this second quarter in 12 minutes. And the game may well be over by half-time. Collingwood are on 3 goals too. Certainly the Demons stay. They're doing everything right, but Shaw boots them out of the centre into attack. A loose ball here, and maybe young Wright can get it. He could get his 3rd goal here. Threw it out as he was tackled. It's holding the man, and Ryan against Yates will take the kick. And he has 2 goals against his name so far. The clever little rover, wingman, whatever, is coming in for his 9th kick.
Well, list umpires have been consistent with that today. We saw it done earlier by Wilson, and he got the benefit, so did Ryan.
Well, here he goes. He's only 35 metres out. It's a lovely kick. It was very straight, came off the boot beautifully, and that's his 3rd goal, and a well-needed one for them. And Matthews, well, how would you know whether he's pleased or not? He never shows emotion, does he?
No, certainly he's a very deep person, controls his thoughts, but Ryan played this well. Watching it there, he almost, watching that, it was a very quick hand pass, almost so quick I didn't see it.
Yeah, the fist came through like lightning, didn't it? 31-point lead for Melbourne. Manson's given them a bit in the ruck since he's come on Collingwood. Got it down to Starcevic. Boot off the ground from Shaw. Here's a chance. Again, it's Ryan against Yates. Yates almost beat 2 of them. Another chance for Ryan off the carpet. Got it into the forward pocket. And I think Yates did pretty well there.
Still Yates was responsible last quarter for fumbling that very badly down the other end. And even that time, even though he was under pressure, he's tended to lose the ball very easily.
Collingwood's forward pocket. No, Dwyer again. It was Healy who kicked it out of the pack, and oh, good hip and shoulder there from Wilson to Keys, the youngster who's but he's 6 feet. Isn't he? He is solid. I think Brian Wilson realises that now. Maybe he won't try that again.
Yes, he looks to me like Greg Phillips, almost the same build.
O'Dwyer 32, Starcevic with Manson arriving to knock it away from O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer blocks Healy, but on hands and knees the big fellow put pressure, but it was Atkins, got it to Manson, doesn't find Starcevic. Spalding intercepting, Atkins number 5. Some good hip and shoulders going in. Bailey cleverly almost flicks it up into his hands, then behind the back, and Manson and O'Dwyer having more than a wrestle. Big James from Tasmania having a word in the shell like of O'Dwyer, who doesn't want anything to do with it. Johnson telling him, not taking notice of him. Now Mullane coming in with advice. The youngsters getting plenty from their
old
teammates.
Umpire Howell giving them a lecture for the day.
We'll do it all over again. Manson wins it. Collingwood fans love it. Atkins couldn't come through with it. Free kick almost to Turner. Glorious day here in Melbourne, and the fans starting to warm to it. But Collingwood have a lot of work to do. They're 32 points down halfway through the second quarter.
It's on Collingwood's half-forward line now as young Ryan kicks it out. Oh, in the way is Stephen Stretch, and he's caught red hot. Starcevic put a good tackle on Stephen Stretch, and the umpire, gentlemen, I think we agree that they have been consistent. And it's his 8th kick. A reputed goal kicker from the West will test him out from 50 metres. It's a drop shot. Danny Hughes on the second attempt. Taylor goalless at this stage for Collingwood as the ball rolls out alongside their behind post. And the score, Melbourne 58 to Collingwood's 26.
Magpie fans getting behind their team now. They want a goal out of this. Great wrestle, play on. It was a line ball, said the umpire, as to who was infringing. Now we'll see this ruck duel continue. Tempers just starting to simmer. The umpires having their work cut out, speaking to players. Taylor's in ruck this time, but O'Dwyer wins it. Zonoko almost through with it. Grinter's handball, diving on it. Bradbury almost over the top there with a high tackle. He gets a pat on the back from Mullane. He kept it in. Bailey was the man he was wrestling with. Coach John Northey from Melbourne. And you wouldn't know if he was pleased either.
Yeah. With the good bounce. O'Dwyer again, or Healy rather, into Hughes. And nicely by Turner down to Arova, who's not there. Just Dean came in, and Tony Shaw's not having a good day. He's been really outpointed by, or outshone by Healy from Melbourne. But no doubt Shaw in the picture now will get into the action sooner or later. Only had 4 kicks.
O'Dwyer against Starcevic. Knock on from Bradbury. Another knock back from Yates straight to Wilson. Oh, clever. Stretch. Inboard to Lyon, back to Stephen Stretch, along the wing he goes. He's down after he's kicked it. No free down ground. Gaffer for Collingwood. Back it comes towards Stretch and Christian. Christian the mark. Half-back flank for Collingwood, members side of the ground in the shadows. Looking for Mullane, well behind the pack Grinter with better judgment. Knock on from Bailey. Kick off the ground from Wilson is beautiful to Stretch onto Lyon. Oh, that's clever football. And Giles. Will he get 15? I think he may. Yes, Manson being dragged back. And now Giles definitely within scoring range. He's won this quarter. And a beautiful piece of opportunism from Wilson. Kick off the ground. 7th kick for Giles after he'd only had 1 in the first quarter. After 18 minutes of the second, he's all of a sudden got 7. That shows the dominance the Demons have had. Giles brings it back, but not soon enough.
Yeah, certainly James Manson was a little lucky there. He gets a bit too enthusiastic sometimes with his tackling and minding marks, and the 15-metre penalty could have meant a goal.
A swinging kick from Banks to Mullane, and gee, they're relying on these two. Banks has kicked the goal. He's kicking the ball back into his. He switched from back line to forward line. 9 kicks here. Good play by Quinter to knock it away from Turner. And Healy brilliantly accosted Dean, and he's bundled over nicely. Collingwood's play here with Manson is good. He's given them a big chance now to Turner. He should go on with it. Oh, to Lockman. Down he goes, over the shoulder. And I think he could be hurt. Taking some time to get up. Free kick to Collingwood anyway, and let's have a look at this. There's Turner crush.
It's Richardson actually, interchange player, Leakey. And it's almost a shorter stay on the ground than the Bluey Adams back in 55 in the grand final. He's come off the interchange bench and really been crunched.
He did go down, didn't he? Crikey.
Don't think he's quite sure where he is. He wasn't out cold like Des Healy or Louis Adams in that famous incident in '55. First touch of the football, and he's not going to get the kick, as it turns out. Teammate takes it, and Bradbury's been pushed in the back. So could this be the signal that Collingwood are coming back? Well, he's been brought back behind the mark, and Shaw's giving the umpire a mouthful. Bradbury for the Magpies.
He's a long ways, almost in the centre of the MCG as he lets go this huge kick right to the edge of the kick-off line, the goal square. The loose ball, that was Alan Johnson who thumped it out. Young Keys grabs it and balloons it right out of play. So Collingwood have lost the momentum. Melbourne get the free kick in their back pocket.
Well, a Melbourne player ran across the mark then, and there was no free kick.
Inconsistency, yes, that's right.
Kick in from Spalding, looking for Stretch. There's a chance for Grinter. The 2 to beat, did it well. Wilson taps it on to Wight. The Irishman cleverly chips it towards half forward. Away goes Payne, told to go for home by teammates, and Payne finds the middle. Paul Payne's first, and the Melbourne fans really enjoying the way their team are playing this last few weeks.
Great chip shot from Sean Wight, finding Paul Payne, plenty of time, shepherded by his teammate. A good kick. Collingwood at this stage are playing stop-start football. They just can't get their game running, and when they do go forward, it's in a very slow fashion. Whereas every time Melbourne seem to go forward, they go with pace, running, and just having that loose man coming all the time down the field.
Melbourne leading 65 to Collingwood's 26, 22 minutes in this quarter, and into attack again, the Demons. And they are running as the Demons are anyway. Here's Tony Shaw getting his 5th kick for the match with his wrong foot. It's not a bad one out to Young Keys. Oh, and he's tackled low. Oh, it's allowed to play on. Ryan has kicked 3 goals and he's looking good. To Atkins. Down to the pocket to Sarcevic. Oh, and he's beaten there by Spalding. He came in from the back and came alive and stopped Collingwood's thrust there. Ball out of play. Good play by number 35 for Melbourne. That's Spalding.
Also Johnson just proved that like Melbourne are sort of have an extra man there all the time. There's 2 out duel, but also Johnson made 30 yards to help him.
Handball comes out. Oh, good smother off the boot by Shaw, but it ricochets to Batterson. Towards half forward he goes. Wight. Up high, up was Flower who got it down the ground. Williams beaten for it by Lockman. He gets up with the ball, Williams. Caught by Kroll. Rosonico taps it clear. Lockman going to be pressured by Wight. Handball comes out to Christian. Back it goes towards Brown. Handballs to Shaw, put him under pressure. Had no option but to tack it back to Brown. Now he gets it to Shaw. Over the top, the Magpies away. Manson up towards half forward. It's all Melbourne. Hughes comes out. Kept his cool. Collingwood with a chance. Richardson, after being dazed, his second touch is at a goal. Hasn't got the legs. It's a mark for Danny Hughes.
Hughes had it all parcelled up then out to Turner. From the back line to the centre wing. Was kicked by Yates. Here's Dean. He's been a good player for Melbourne on that forward line. Kicks in towards a half-forward position. Nice pick-up, Bailey. He knew where Giles was running. Giles runs into the 50-metre line and balloons a kick. And he's offline again. Another behind to Peter Giles. He's kicked 1 goal, 3.
Dean having a few breathing problems. Met solidly by Atkins, I think it was. Winded a little bit. A change of idea from Kroll. Flower putting him under pressure. Rosonico backing up. And finally it will be kicked from the full-back line towards Keys. He's got the mark. Drives it into the middle. Richardson spills that. Away goes Payne. Pressure on from Ryan. Payne's kick goes straight to Turner. Turner for Collingwood. Lowered his colours to Wilson in this turn. It beat Banks, but Keys is there to back him up for the Magpies. Towards half forward and Starcevic. Bit of system now coming in for the Magpies. They need to get it moving quickly. They're 40 points down. Here's Ryan. Another 15, 20 metres closer to goal. Matt Ryan It's been their main avenue to goal with 3 goals. This will be his 12th kick. Just within range. Very cute angle. Torpedo punt, falls short. Thought it might have been stretching him, and Turner's safe mark. Batterson, plenty of time. Over the top he goes to Payne, back to Batterson. He's got an eternity to make up his mind. Slips over, and he's caught. Yes, against Batterson. And, well, too much time, perhaps.
Did it too casually then, didn't he, Batterson? Even before he slipped. He's Lockman, is it? Bailey. Melbourne seem to have all the answers. Back to Greg Healy. Then the long kick out to the wing. Now, players not too keen to chase it. That was too far for them. It was heading out anyway. And a throw in. 26 minutes of play in Melbourne. 66 to Collingwood's 26.
Dean has gone off after that strong clash. And a breather. Manson comes in over the top of Turner. Turner held off there to allow a teammate to boot it off the carpet. Williams, he did that very well. Stopped over the ball, and Rosonico straight into his back. No 15 there. 5th kick coming up for David Williams. Just attacking side of the centre. Kicks looking there for man on Sparks. Better recovery. Oh, spills it though. Flower might have to come in here, but Sparks butters up well. The pass though, taken by Brown. On the keys, he's caught well. Robbie Flower. Tackled by Rosonico. It was good football. Oh, high tackle there on Brown. And Flower's getting the free kick. Well, I thought it was a good tackle.
Looks like it. We've been complimenting the umpires, saying they have been consistent, though. It was Giles flying for Melbourne, missed it. Kroll, Gaither, he's in a lot of trouble, but Atkins helped him. Here they come with a chain of hand. Rosonico, oh, and it just barely meets the measure. Brown, Keys again, getting a bit of trouble trying to stand up. Atkins looks good as he strides right through the back line. He threw it out as he was lunged at by a Stretch. Good play, Atkins. A nice pass down to the half-forward line. That's their best piece of play as he finds a big fellow, Manson. Into the 50-metre line. The kick hasn't got enough bend in it. Oh, easy one there for Danny Hughes, who marks. Gregory was out position. He kicks it out towards Lyon. Well done, Demons.
Lyon wheels back onto the right. Squaring kick. Look at all these Demons here. Healy told to go for it by Johnson. Away goes Greg Healy. Back to Wilson. They're queuing up to kick this goal. Wilson from 45 metres. No mistake. First goal for Wilson, and really that just typified how easily the Demons are doing it after Collingwood had struggled to get it forward and missed an opportunity.
Yes, right from the back line when Hughes kicked wide to the wing, watching Healy. He probably should have turned, come back the other way, but still plenty of time. Long hand pass. Johnson and Wilson raffle it. Who takes it? Wilson's snap from 45 metres out, right through. But too easy. Collingwood just can't put enough pressure on them.
6-goal quarter for Collingwood to Melbourne, rather. Collingwood's 2, so the Demons are running all over them. Thrashing would be a word that I could use. And the free kick going to Collingwood skipper Tony Shaw. I need his lifting ability to lift the team. Kicks it down to full forward. Starcevic gets the long handball back into Atkins. It's not a bad handball. Can Atkins make it work? He has. Ryan again, 4th goal. Great play. And he's the star in the Collingwood lineup. Look for number 45 all the time, fellows, and you might win.
He's kicked 3 this quarter. The team have kicked 3 this quarter.
How good is he?
Yes, 4 great goals, and probably the one he missed he probably should have kicked also. Certainly he's kept them in the scoring area, because Taylor, Starcevic has been doing quite well at centre half forward, but Taylor's been non-existent. Hughes has kept him right out at full forward.
Atkins involved there. He's played pretty well as well to try and motivate them. Comes to Tony Shaw. Now Mullane. Lovely pass. Which one will take it? Starcevic does. 2 Collingwood players there. Starcevic running straight at the ball. Naturally went for it. It was Ron Richards, a bit more vocal than Lee Matthews. 6th mark for the Western Australian. Richardson getting out of the way to allow him to come through to take it. 10th kick coming up, and they desperately need a goal right on 30 minutes, probably their last chance of the quarter. They trail by 40 points. They trail by 39 points. Can't believe it, Craig Starcevich. Hasn't kicked a major so far today, and they need him firing.
I think it's worth just recalling that young Matt Ryan's kicked the total of Collingwood's goals in this quarter, 3. Melbourne in absolute control. Into Lyon, centre half forward. He ducked his head, and that's why he lost it. And Manson not too good. The keys. Now on to Turner, centre man. Melbourne player down. And there's a marker to Starcevich again. As a siren blurts for half-time, Collingwood will get the kick. The mark was taken before that. Wilson hurt again. It's Banks who's taken the mark out there, and Dennis Banks is a long kick. Perfect day for football. He'll kick it just inside the 50-metre line. Collingwood are trailing by 39 points. It's a huge kick. It's touched. Now the half-time score is Melbourne 10 goals 12, 72 to Collingwood's 5-4, 34.